Let's dive in. The Niners and the Eagles getting a little bit closer, and I've already heard a bunch of interesting stuff on the day on our station from Emmanuel Acho and Howard Eskin, and let's go there because I did think of you when I was actually coming out of the grocery store earlier today.
Which one, Mark?
I was coming out of Safeway, and
God, I love that store.
I needed to go get, let's see, some OJ, some Ziploc bags, some baby carrots, some cucumber,
oh my God,
and a bag of lettuce. And so we went and we executed that entire project.
I went there last night at 9 o'clock, and I'm embarrassed to tell you what I had to go and get. 2 things.
Oh, one's diapers.
Actually incorrect.
Really?
But one of them was for the baby, and one was for the parents. Vodka and milk.
Oh, gosh, I was going to guess condoms.
Baby!
We're off to quite a start. But anyway.
No, I mean, yeah. Vodka.
Don't talk about that.
We won't. That was a first and a last right there. That's the
I got diapers the day before at Safeway. I'm at Safeway probably 23 times a week.
Yeah, twice a day is a minimum.
Easy.
Yeah, there's an early shift and a late shift, and sometimes there's a really late shift. And
last night was the I need a drink. And I said, and the baby needs milk. I'll be right back.
And you were out? I visioned your house being one that never ran out of vodka. But anyway, I digress.
Baby's 15 months old.
Coming out of there with my lettuce and my OJ,
okay.
And I hear Emmanuel Acho talk about voting for Trent Williams 4th in his MVP balloting. And I go, oh, boy, Dibs going to get a big old happy dance out of this.
It was a semi.
Look, I fully get it. I think you could bounce around the entire 49er team and the league, quite frankly, and start doing stuff like this if you wanted to. I mean, it's hard for me to diminish all kinds of players on the 49ers. Eagles, too. Sounds to me like Fletcher Cox is probably not going to play this weekend. I think that's a big old deal. I think it's a huge deal. So you can point to a lot of different things. If I announce to you right now, and this happened, everyone only talks about Brock Purdy, Fred Warner got knocked out of the game last year. Big deal?
Huge.
Huge. Does that make him the MVP? The bottom line is we look at MVP voting in sports in all kinds of odd ways, mainly because we're allowed to look at it whichever way we want. We all get to define value in our own way. I don't care if Brock Purdy's the MVP, Trent Williams, cool story, Emmanuel Acho. Like, that's fun. It's fun to bring it up. There's 1 billion% odds against it happening. It'll never happen. You can't win that as an offensive lineman. You can't win a Heisman as an offensive. You can't do it. So you can go on a radio show and say that. And everyone's like, yeah, one for the big guy. Okay, great. But to me, the larger point is one that we should not be making. We should not be doing this to players, which is to say, if things become difficult around you and then your product becomes a little bit lesser than, because I actually think we're overstating how bad Brock was those 3 weeks. But if your product goes down a little bit because key pieces are gone, duh. That's obvious. That should not be a demerit, is what I'm saying. Because to ask a quarterback or any player on a team that features 22 people at a time, to ask that person to make it stay constant by yourself, which seems to be what we're asking him to do, I think is a figment of our imagination. I think it's a complete figment of our imagination, and I can prove it right now with the best player in the league. Does the Chief offense, does it look as good?
No, but it doesn't have to. They're still winning games.
But hold on, why not? So are the Niners. They have almost the exact same record.
But he's got better odds to win the MVP.
Why?
Because of his name. Because of the odds makers.
And because
of where the money goes.
And that's resume.
Right.
It's not that Patrick Mahomes
and Brock doesn't have the resume.
But why?
So in terms of the MVP discussion, people are going to vote the way they're going to vote based on what they think. And I think Acho made a good point about Brock Purdy in the 3 games. He didn't have Trent. Trent got hurt in the first one. He wasn't as good. And he thinks that that's something that he should have been able to overcome, and he didn't.
But why don't we do that to the other players? So, in other words, when the Bills lose their top defenders and now they've got to score more points in order to win games and they're unable to do it and have a 500 record, I don't hear people say Josh Allen is not any good anymore. He should be able to elevate. When I look at the Chiefs and I go, my God, your pass catchers are young and they drop the ball constantly. They lead the NFL in drops. There is no Tyreek Hill. There is no Juju Smith-Schuster. There is nobody who's ever been a one, and it shows. But I don't hear anyone go, and Patrick's been unable to elevate them. Why not?
Well, they're 8-3.
So are the Niners.
So, yeah, exactly.
So what are we talking about?
We're talking about the games that the Niners lost, and they lost them, and Brock Purdy wasn't as good as he's been when he had Trent Williams and when he had Deebo Samuel.
Same for Patrick.
Patrick has had his guys for the majority of the year, and they have scuffled, and he hasn't been as good as he normally is.
The whole time.
Because they haven't had the same level of talent, but they're still 8-3, and they're a half game off of having the best record in the AFC. And the Niners are not. The Niners are 8-3.
But that's a different team.
And they lost to a Minnesota team that is not very good, not as good. They lost to a Cincinnati team that now doesn't have its quarterback.
But all these things apply to the Chiefs as well, and I'm not trying to take shots at Patrick Mahomes. I'm simply trying to say, why wouldn't we say the same thing about all the candidates, all the players?
We do, and that's why Josh Allen is not a candidate anymore, because Josh Allen is leading the league in interceptions, and he's not having the kind of year that you would figure that he would have.
Same for Patrick. So why aren't we saying that about Patrick? Why is it so taboo to be like, Patrick's numbers are down a little bit. The Chiefs' offense, they're down a little bit. I don't have any issue with it.
I don't think that Patrick is the MVP. So his odds...
The odds are he's top 2.
And you know why the odds are that he's top 2.
Resume.
Exactly.
Yes.
And the odds are set there because that's the books being able to protect themselves for the money that's going to come in. If you set his odds where they really should be, if you think that Patrick Mahomes is having the 6th or 7th best year right now in the National Football League and you put his odds at 16-1, you're going to get buried if he wins the award. You can't do that.
I mean, you mentioned Lamar. I think this is an interesting point. I'd vote for him right now, too. If I had a vote, I'd vote for Lamar Jackson today. Today, I would vote for Lamar Jackson. But Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes' odds are both ahead of Lamar Jackson's.
Right.
Why? He's got a resume.
Right. Jalen Hurts' team is 10-1.
Okay.
And Lamar Jackson's a former winner of the award.
Yep.
And, I don't know if Baltimore has yet gotten the national appeal that would elevate him to the top of the award.
I mean, their record is
9-3.
Their
Best
record
in the
is
AFC.
better than Kansas City.
No doubt. Best record in the AFC.
Anyway, I mean, I'm just pointing out incongruities, and I get it. It's not that I don't get it. I just think my specific point on Brock, because I don't think he's the MVP right now, and I don't think he's going to win it.
No.
My specific point on Brock is stop asking him to put the whole team on his back. Nobody does that. I know you think that it happens. It's really just this romantic kind of figment of our imaginations, I think. Everybody will look worse when your stuff around you is taken away, just like Mahomes does this year. He looks worse. I don't hold that against him at all. He's got less to work with.